who's still resting.
Oh, the precious kitty. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the daily, and I mean daily, political tarot and astrology here on the Black and Orange channel.
5 years. For 5 years. For anniversary of 5 years daily. I would applaud if somebody's using my hand for a pillow.
And that's what's most important, is to take care of the kitties. Yes. Yes. Also, happy Boxing Day. Yes. But yeah, thank you, everybody. 5 years. Yeah. I can't believe it, but that's what happened. I've had two emergencies in 5 years that I couldn't be on.
Wow.
But it's only just, I don't even think it was a total of 5 days that I missed, but because of those emergencies. And yeah, so I just keep showing up every day. I just take your questions and just leave your questions in the chat before I come on. I don't do political readings. Sorry, I don't do political readings. All I do is political readings. I don't do personal readings, but this lovely woman does, and she's really good. Oh, look at the kitty.
He is just not.
Oh, the kitty. Oh,
yeah, you can do anything too. He doesn't care. He just spurs. This is Skewy, everybody. Little Johnny Fortescue.
Oh, precious. Oh. Well, thank you.
He isn't it? He's cross-eyed, so when he looks at me, it just cracks me up.
Oh, the precious. Yeah, okay, so we have got epic troll slayers. We have like Lord of the Rings level troll slayers, and you have kept us safe like for 5 years. And thank you. Oh, Becky, thank you so much. It really helps. We have got a great community for which I am eternally grateful, because like I said, I'm here every weekday, weekend, holiday, your birthday, my birthday, I'm here. And we get together and we ride these waves of emotions, and we really pull together. And that's really, I joke that the patron saint of the channel is Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers. Because when I was very young, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood was the only thing I would watch on TV. And apparently I told my mother, I said, everything else is too violent.
Wow.
Watch some Sesame Street or Electric Company, but I'm
trying to remember when's the first time we did a video together. I started my channel in 2018 in the fall, and you were one of the first readers I saw on YouTube. Oh, thank you, Amy, gifting memberships. I don't know if it was
a long time,
2019 or 2020, but rather early on we met and hooked up, did a collab.
Yeah, well, the when I started out, it was June of 2018 is when the channel started, and
I think October is when I did my first video in 2018.
There we go. And I didn't show my face until 2019. Thank you, Janice. Thank you, Lisa. And I just had my camera overhead on my hands, and it was once I was living on my own and I was starting to get my confidence back and all of that I started to show my face.
You had a loaded Celtic cross spread you used to do.
Oh, I still do sometimes. Yeah. My overloaded Celtic cross. Like,
I remember that.
I still do that sometimes, but yeah, but it's just been, especially considering the kind of where my life was when this channel started, and even where my life was when I started doing this every day. I mean, I don't talk too much about it, but Oh, Marjorie, thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you. When I started, I was very, I don't know how to put this because I don't want this to turn into any kind of bashing session, but I was in a place where I had no confidence, and I had, there were a couple of videos early on where I actually used an AI voice, one of the earliest AI voices, or earlier AI voices, because and some people were saying, "Oh, you know must have had laryngitis." Actually, it wasn't. It was that I was afraid to make noise
Yeah.
because of where I was, and I only did that twice, and then but slowly I got more confidence, and it's really this community. It's really you guys who
Helped you to grow
that helped me
personally.
to open up, you know, and start trusting, and start expressing myself more. And then the first time I mean, I had shown my face a couple of times on Patreon, but I really started showing my face. It was people were so upset after Trump was impeached, but he wasn't removed. And it came down that the Senate was not going to remove him. And people were so upset. I can't even tell you. To the point where I just felt this urge and I just showed my face and I I know it sounds silly, but I sang the national anthem.
Wow.
You know, about the whole, you know, home of the brave, and, you know, kind of we're going to get through this. Um, and then I just started more and more just showing my face. So then it was after my divorce. In My divorce was official, I think, on December 19th. And then the day after Christmas, I said, you know what? I'm going live. And I think I'm just going to go live. I don't know if I can do it every day, but I'm just going to go live. And I thought about it and I thought, well, I could do it later in the day or earlier in the day. And I thought noon would be good because it was in that sweet spot with maybe some people would be off for lunch in the central time zone or something, but also there was a lot of stuff going on in the evenings, but not a lot during the day.
Yeah, and back in those days, we didn't have StreamYard. Like, you couldn't go live with someone. You
Right.
were solo live through YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah. Boo boo. Boo boo. Come here. Over here.
It's a Zen kitty in the background.
Yes. He is Boo Boo Zen Kitty. You guys named him that. I call him Boo Boo. His name, the name when he came to me was Bailey, because that's the name of the street he was found on. He was a kitten. He was a completely alone and hungry.
I'm pet sitting for a neighbor who takes care of my cats when I travel, and he's got a cat 18 years old named Boo Boo.
But anyways, I called him Zen Kitty one day on a video, and so it all went together, and people started calling him Boo Boo Zen Kitty, BBZK in the chat, and that was, you guys did that, so that was cool. So anyway, yeah, but I went live the day after Christmas, and I just kept doing it, and it worked out pretty well. I mean, I was able to give some people some, you know, something in the afternoon, but I also, it suited me having a daytime show, if you will, because I don't like swearing on the channel. I don't have a problem if anybody, you know, look, if whatever anybody wants to do, you do you. But I know during the day there are people have little ears around, and you know, kids and grandkids and what have you. So, and it's just gross, the stuff that comes up in politics, so we can do it together. So I really have all of you to thank for giving me the confidence to do this, because I was in such a dark place. And all through that time when I had health problems and all of this, even before that, the reason that Sarah is such a part of this channel and everything I do is because she's been my friend since like 2012. And she would call me back in the darkest of the days and be like, okay, what are we doing today? What productive thing are we doing? How are you doing? You know, and we'd talk, and she really encouraged me.
One step in front of the other.
Yeah. And she was doing that, and I can never thank her enough. So you have made a difference in my life, and I am grateful from the bottom of my heart. So thank you.
Everybody, I'm sure, is very appreciative of your going live every day. And I think, you know, I didn't show my face when I did my first video. It was really funny. In the corporate world, I worked in retail, and I would do presentations like in front of anywhere from 100 to 300 people. And I had no problem public speaking. I can talk and talk and talk. I have no problem. Like when I teach, you know, in Portland, when I do my seminars, I have no problem talking when I know what I'm talking about. You know, I don't stumble. But the first time I flipped that camera on to do my first video, I think it was a 12 or 13-minute video, and I went back and counted because it was hysterical. I said 75 times. I apparently was camera shy. It's like I can talk all day long to you know, big groups of people. Doesn't bother me, but turn a camera on me.
Oh yeah, I mean,
My friend Beth Cat, who you she told me, she said, pretend I'm sitting on the other side of the camera like you're talking to me, and that helped me.
Oh. My thing was I couldn't get the camera high enough on the first video because I didn't have anything that I could put it on. Oh, thank you, Marby. Thank you. So I did actually the first couple of videos, I actually did the reading, and then I got out a mini deck. And so I turned on the camera, and I laid out the mini cards as what I had gotten with the big cards because it wouldn't fit. Nothing else would fit in that little space. And then eventually I started doing the nails. So that became a mode of expression for me, and then onward. So
I didn't show my face for a while either. I was always angling down like this so you could see, but the cards would always be upside down because I'm having to read them.
right.
And then I was like, all right, shoot. Yes, I started flipping the camera up, and I used to move it down when I was pulling and then move it back up when I was talking. And I was finally like, just leave it up. I'm making people seasick.
Do you use the camera on your laptop, or do you have an additional camera?
No, it's built in.
Oh, then that's amazing. You've got a great camera in your laptop. Mine is not so great, and you can look at the early stuff. And that's the other thing. Some people don't realize is there's an Instagram account for this channel, and it is, and I post in post production every day. And not only do I choose, a picture for the cover, and I used to do a lot more graphics with the cover, but I also make an Instagram version. And it literally just goes on and on and on for years, day after day after day after day. So it's good for me to be able to look back and say, oh my gosh, look what I did this. And it's fun to see like the Melania impersonation episode, or the episodes where I was on the phone, or supposedly, or
your Halloween costumes.
Halloween costumes. By the way, you have great Halloween costumes.
Because I have a sick sense of humor. I was trying to think of the worst thing I could do. For all these horrible people that we read on.
Okay, so but that's kind of how we do. And yeah, and so looking forward into the coming years, I wanted to just give a quick reminder to everybody and run a theory past you, Chenlin, in case you haven't heard me talking about this. That I believe that what happened with this election is that we have our collective energy. And now again, this is just my beliefs. Thank you, Patty. That we have our collective energy, and that is quite often what we read on is our collective energy. But I believe that when the outer planets that move so slowly and make aspects so rarely and change signs so rarely, when that energy flows through, it can almost disperse our collective energy that will eventually then, reassert itself. But I think that's what happened. I think that Pluto had backtracked into Capricorn, which is a sign of hierarchy, and it gave us, the good thing is it gave us Barack Obama, but it also gave us Donald Trump. And I think it backtracked and was doing cleanup last minute, like, okay, what have I forgotten? And it was like, all of you, I don't think you've learned anything. I think you need to.
It's interesting too, and thank you, Lucky Girl.
Thank
It's
you.
interesting to look at how all the craziness going on with the planets is impacting Trump's chart, Kamala's chart, JD Vance's, Elon Musk, on and on and on. It's craziness with, like, you can tell it's all tied together. Now,
Yeah.
I think the election was stolen. Everything that Trump spouted in 2020, he's now made come true, this year.
Yeah.
But is it affecting the collective, or is it affecting these almost avatars in our politics,
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Thank you, Mary Beth. Thank you, Courtney. Thank you.
And it's supposed to, as we're moving into the age of Aquarius and bringing that feminine energy and bringing that from the bottom up, not the top down oligarch. We're bringing the people up, and we see all the protests that are happening around the world and what happened in Syria and stuff. Trump, to me, is just the last hurrah of the ugliest, darkest version of the patriarchal society that you could ever have.
100%. 100%. Absolutely. Thank you, Carol. Well, the Pluto changed signs, and I know I'm not the only person who has felt such a shift in energy. And I think you can see a lot of it. I think probably the most high profile thing that we've seen is the unaliving of the United Healthcare CEO, and the reaction to that, which was, if you've seen
we're tired of being denied, we're tired of being treated like crap. Response to it is crazy.
Well, Josh Johnson, the comedian,
I love him.
Yeah.
If y'all do not follow him on YouTube, follow Josh Johnson. He also works on The Daily Show. He's hysterical.
Yes, he is. Well, he had a whole thing about that unaliving, and he made it perfectly clear that he said, yes, he, allegedly, nobody's been convicted yet. So we need to say allegedly, but allegedly, this man, Luigi, is it Maglione? He unalived, okay, I'll just be straight up. He killed a man, allegedly. And Josh Johnson said, but how many millions of people did that CEO kill?
Yeah, by his policies.
And it's like, dang.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are entering, it really does feel like a major energy shift, and people getting just sick of the inequality, sick of all of this stuff. And the thing about Aquarius is that it's a fixed, Chris, yes, entertainment only. Thank you, Chris Cool. it is a fixed sign. So everybody, the reason you get revolutions and all this kind of stuff is because everybody sinks into their own viewpoints, and there's not a lot of negotiation and common ground.
Oh,
So that's
you dig in and stand
right.
for yourself.
Right. So that's why you get the French Revolution. I mean, the American Revolution started when Pluto was in Capricorn, which, since we just went through that, is kind of easy to see. Like, yeah, you get sick of the aristocracy, you get sick of the inequality, you get sick of the hierarchy, I have to need to stay in my place. No, forget that. But it's the formation of the government, and all of these things happened when Pluto was in Aquarius. And Aquarius is the sign of democracy. So what's happening over the next few years, though, is extraordinary astrologically. And I just had I just want to go over this quickly for anybody who missed it, that this is very unusual. When Pluto changes signs, you can go down through and mark the big things that happened every time Pluto changed. Let's put it this way. Pluto went into Cancer 1914. Pluto went into Leo 1939. I mean, you can just like go down the list.
14's when women got the vote, right?
No, World War One.
Oh, World War One. Well, when was it women got the vote too? It was shortly there.
1920. I want to say it was 20 or 21. I think it was 1920. But 1914, World War One started. 1939, World War Two started. And it kicks up, and it knocks down anything that it doesn't have strong roots, that isn't strongly based. And then you can go back through history and you can say, okay, when Uranus was here or did there, or to the US chart or whatever, you can see these major events happening. But this is coming next year. This is August 20th of next year. The outer planets, the Saturn was the outer planet for centuries because they didn't have telescopes and you couldn't see anything past Saturn. So Saturn was the outermost planet, but then we found Uranus, Neptune, Pluto. And these outer planets are moving so slowly, certainly the farther out you go, that when they do something, when they aspect something, when they change signs, it makes big waves. And that's when you get two things together, or two things aspecting each other. Well, next August, you got this. You got all four outer planets have changing signs, or having just changed signs, and aspecting each other. This is a massive wave of energy. Now, the good news is, say the color's blue, not red. I try to tell people that in modern astrology charts, if you see an astrology chart, the first thing you can do, even if you don't know anything about astrology, look at the lines in the middle. Do you have mostly blue or mostly red? Because the blue tends to be energies working together a bit better, and the red tends to be more, let's say, the grit that creates the pearl. Little irritating, little friction, a little more irritating. The good news is these planets are working together, but even if it's a fantastic, even if it's a fantastic current of energy, it can, if you're just a little person in that, it can be a lot. So I think Steve Judd, the astrologer, I want to say he had a live stream with Rick Levine together. That was really interesting. But Steve Judd said he doesn't think this has happened since at least 5,000 BCE. And wow. Rick Levine said, I don't know if this has ever happened. I mean, this is massive. So that's why I've been pushing so hard on the different live streams I do now, or the different channels I have now, to calm down, be practical with your money, support each other, being positive, being creative, or productive at least, and then going through the news together as a group. So because this wave is coming, and we've already felt it just with Pluto, the one at the bottom, changing signs, and the others haven't even changed signs yet.
Pulling something out by the roots, like pulling your hair out at the roots. It's that kind of energy. Just like, let me pull it up and expose it.
Right. The way I've described it, and again, some of you have seen this already, but I'll just go over this again. I think that we live in the sea of energy, and I think that we're all connected. We're all in like our own little deep sea, vessels, and we're all connected through our crown chakras and up into our higher selves and what have you. But we get these energy currents that come through in our lives, and they affect us, and they can just kind of knock us back, or it can push us forward, or whatever's going on. But when these major planets do something big, especially something like this, we just need to be sensible and be reasonable, because it's huge. It's a huge amount of energy. So that's happening next August 2025.
Yeah, Pluto's already changed signs.
Yeah. Right. Pluto's already changed signs in here, but
Saturn does, right?
Yeah, Saturn will conjunct Neptune here, and then in everything in aspect to Uranus up here. All of these changing signs. And Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So there are some astrologers saying it's particularly powerful because it's not only they're all changing signs, but this conjunction is literally right at the beginning, not only of Aries, but the beginning of the signs. So it's a huge reset, shift, what have you.
Now, I'm expecting for me a big kind of reset shift, because I have 4 planets in Aries, 4. And it's going to come right across all of them.
I'll be honest, I haven't seen your chart. Are you in early Aries?
April 13th.
Okay, so you're a little bit later. But you probably have, since I know you have a lot of things in Aries.
My sun's at 24 degrees, and it's the last one, but I have my moon's at like 1 degree, almost 0 degrees.
Ding.
Yeah, my Venus and Mercury are also in Aries. I don't remember where, and then my sun.
Wow.
And then my Mars is in Cancer, squares my sun, exact square, 24 degrees Cancer, which I think makes me a real big fighter for women's causes. Like, I do not like when women are mistreated. I will like blow up.
Yes. Yeah. Aries, super Aries energy here. It's amazing. Yeah.
Victoria Skirbo was on my channel one time and did my chart, so she could show people how she does astrology charts for people. And she said, I thought my husband was bad because he's a triple Aries. She's like, Jen's a quadruple Aries. Like, don't mess with her.
Right. Absolutely. All right. So this is happening next year in August. This gets us close. This is for August 20th. But over the following 2 years, we're going to get echoes and what have you, because in July of 2026, so just under a year later, Saturn here, this thing that looks like an H, a lowercase h, it will have moved on to 14 degrees. But all of these other outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, they're going to aspect again exactly at 4 degrees of their signs.
Yeah, because they're very slow moving. So
right. And
it's like they'll kind of stay in that formation as they're moving around.
Right. And Jupiter, which is just inside of Saturn, will then come over here and set this whole thing off as well. So this becomes what's called a basket formation. But so you get that in July of 2026. And then, can I go this way? Hang on. Yeah. So then in June of 2027, you get these 3 outer planets again making this aspect at 6 degrees. So for the next, 2025, 2026, 2027, it's this huge amount of energy, but then it's reinforced, and then the next year it's reinforced. So there are big changes coming. Be sensible. So I was wondering if I know we've talked a lot, but if we could maybe read on next August, like
What
just
the
what
energy
comes
will
up.
be like.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've got, yes, Uranus is going over my ascendant, which is in early Gemini, and it's like, oh, good, because it also sets off this giant T-square I have with 5 planets across my ascendant and descendant. It's a huge deal.
Is that,
and I'm like,
is that aspect too, like the U.S. chart? Aren't we in like a Saturn return or something in our U.S. or Pluto return? We're in Pluto return.
oh, we went for a Pluto return. What we're coming up on
We're coming out of that,
we're coming up to our Uranus return.
That's it.
And that's
there was
a whole other discussion that
the planet of surprise.
surprise. Bolt out of the blue rules Aquarius. Yikes. Okay.
Which is where Pluto is sitting. So.
Yeah.
See, I told you I know enough about astrology to be dangerous.
Oh no, you're great.
I'm an amateur. I don't do charts. I know how things impact my chart. So I pay attention.
That's good.
Yeah, I pay attention to when planets are shifting.
So next August, 2025. It feels like my guides are trying to like translate languages between astrology and tarot.
I'm just getting major arcana all over the place.
Okay. I'm going to reshuffle because I'm just getting this thing I've said 8 million times. So let me get something other. Is there anything new other than let's be practical, let's be sensible?
Okay, you'll have to tell me if this kind of
please go ahead
would correlate to the astrology, but I'm getting it's a time of deep reflection, deep going within, learning from our experiences, thinking about it, even as a world, to go within, learn from the wisdom before you like bring things out into action. So contemplation, reflection, learning, absorbing, thinking things through, not just acting impulsively, right? And again, reflection. The seeds you plant are what you're going to harvest. So better be thinking about what it is you want to manifest, because where you plant your seeds is what you're going to harvest. It's big changes from that patriarchal society and bringing more love in. With that, and I'm getting it's the end of the patriarchal society. So it may be signaling that first real big feeling of that feminine energy that's coming in. And what my guides are saying is make plans, take it slow and steady. Don't try to do rapid changes, reflect on it, make plans. This is a time of setting legacy and getting to calmer waters and laying the groundwork for that. I'm also getting it's a time where we may like finally start taking care of our impoverished a little bit. So, every country I've ever been in, I've been in over 40 countries from my retail travel days. There's, homeless people everywhere. And the fact we have them here in the U.S., one of the richest countries in the world, just astounds me. Why do we have homeless people? Why are we not taking care of them? But maybe we're going to start seeing more care for others. A lot of things will come out that these planets are bringing to light, and that's good news. Thank you, Sunflower. That's good news for us to bring out the illumination. We still have more work to do. It's not over. We still have more work to do, but we're finally moving into action with that feminine energy. Now, for me, the Queen of Wands, shows up for me as a healer and a medium, intuitive. She's a fire sign woman like me with a cat at her feet, but she always shows up for me for a healer. And I think it's that healing energy of feminine power.
Is everybody in the back? Does everybody in the back hear that? That it's not just me telling you we've got to go back to brass tacks. Think
it through.
Think it through. I'm not saying that things are going to. I don't think that we're headed for the 1930s, because that was different. Things were different then.
Even reflecting on what resonates with you. If it doesn't resonate with you, then don't give it any attention. If you see, they're like Johnny always says, you can find a video on YouTube for anything to support any thought, any belief. You have to listen and discern, is that truth or not? Yeah. What resonates with you? And that's where, because we have so many lies out there now, we really have to get more discerning. And that's what this card teaches, how to be discerning.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And as I was saying, the aspects were very different back in the 1930s, but that, if it was 1927, what would you do? And it isn't that we're, like I said, we're not going into World War III. I never pick up World War III. I don't pick up another Great Depression. But what I'm saying is that computers and AI and all of this alone, let alone getting rid of or weakening the patriarchy, standing up against the patriarchy, these can cause major changes. And so, like, I'm still reading this diary of a man who, it's a Great Depression diary. And it wasn't that he was homeless or what have you, but he was talking about like what was going on around him and what was in the news and businesses and what banks in his town were shuttering. And it's really clear from about 3 pages in that, and he says it over and over, people were okay who weren't taking risks. That before the crash, everybody was speculating. Everybody was wearing things they couldn't afford. It was just this huge thing. And it's like the people who didn't do that, who only, he's like, why didn't I and why didn't everybody I know just focus on, like, sure, if we want stocks or we want something, or invest in something that has a low return because it's safer. And it just over and over and over, where it was just more and more instances of that the people who were in the best sense conservative, not in that, but in the sense of sensible, think it through, those are the people, even in that bad of a situation, who were okay.
It's because our country, we're a little bit of a brash country,
Oh, yeah.
we're brash. And like when I would travel overseas, everybody would talk about, Americans like we're all cowboys, in a Western movie, like,
Mm-hmm.
That's just how a lot of people view Americans, that we're just brash and, everybody's carrying guns and stuff. It's, take no prisoners kind of energy sort of thing. It's just crazy. It's like, we're not that brash. We, we are risk takers. So there's a lot of risk takers in America, but we also have to reflect and think it through.
Yeah. The cards I got, first of all, the far right trying to stir things up, it's pretty pathetic. I mean, in hindsight, in history, this will be utterly pathetic. Those who are these big CEOs, the people with the huge amounts of money, this Ace of Pentacles for me is either like something new, like starting a new business, but it can also be just a huge honking great, whacking great amount of money. People with the money being on the defensive. And they're being, all of these where women's rights have been taken away and all of that, they're reaching the point where women are like, enough. And the people who support human rights, which is what it is, gay rights, women's rights, all of it. It's like, no, we're not putting up with this anymore.
Josh Johnson just did a video talking about the strike at Amazon. And he's like, Bezos, because they have to report their earnings and stuff. They just had record billions of profits on Cyber Monday. And, now all these workers striking during Christmas at a time where he needs them. And he's like, so y'all keep making these billions, but somehow you can't pay your workers more. You can't give them breaks. You can't treat them like human beings. So there you go. They're striking in your biggest time of year, Christmas.
Yep. I mean, it was only 1% because the unions aren't that big yet. But you have billions upon billions to go take your, I think I can say this word with the little ears around, your phallic symbol rocket.
Yeah.
And to put yourself into space with everyone congratulating you. But all of these people work
Josh
for you.
Was talking about. He said, oh, so you made billions, so you got to go fly your little rocket again.
Right. It's going to become a burden. There's judgment. There's big judgment here. So what I have is people stepping forward, and this is going to take various forms of people standing up for the rights of the populace, of regular people. And I've got a death card in the Lovers. I mean, I've got people getting very fixated on their, like I said, everybody gets more stubborn and more set in their views. And it can be bad if we're not sensible. But we're going to be sensible, right? Right? We're going to be sensible. So, oh boy.
It's funny,
right.
as a quad Aries, I can really dig my heels in. Like I can really, I got the Aries horns. I can dig my heels in. I'm always open to listening, to others' opinions. But when they're done, I'm going to give them mine. It takes a lot to change my opinion because I'm stubborn. I dig my heels in, but I have been known to change my opinion in spite of that.
Oh yeah, and actually, I would suggest, and of course I could be wrong, but I would suggest, because Aries isn't a fixed sign; it's a cardinal sign. So. The way I describe it, let me pull this up. I'm going to cover you up for just 1 second, just to explain something. That if I go like this, think of these are quadrants. Think of this as 4 quadrants. And when you go into a quadrant, the first sign is the cardinal sign, and it takes action. It moves. It initiates. We're going into the quadrant. And then in the middle of the quadrant, you get the fixed signs. They're like, I'm in the quadrant. I'm not moving. And then at the end of the quadrant, you're like, all right, we need to be a little bit flexible because we're going to be moving into a new quadrant. And those are the mutable signs. So Aries here isn't a fixed sign, but the stubbornness is active action. You want going, move. And so somebody trying to say, oh, no, don't do that. It's like, no, excuse you. I'm moving. I have something to say.
Get out of my way or I'm going to knock you.
Get out of my way. Yes. And that's a good thing. What I love.
I have a great story. The first time I went to Portland and met Johnny in person for the first time, he's the first reader I ever collaborated with on YouTube. And I had been up all night. I didn't sleep on the plane. I didn't sleep the night before. So I was dog tired. Hadn't had a Starbucks because the Starbucks was closed when I got on this early morning flight. And if I don't have my coffee, a little caffeine in the morning, you do not want to talk to me. I get off the plane and he's meeting me at the baggage check. And I grab my bag and I turn around and I see him. And I lost my mind. I had an out of body experience. I was literally shoving people out of the way. I said, "Get out of my way. I've got someone to hug." Like I'm pushing people over to give love.
Right.
Mean to give love. It was like,
Right.
woo. I mean, I was like, I don't know what happened. I just got possessed.
You got possessed by the spirit of Aries, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things I love about astrology is it says everybody is supposed to be different.
Yeah.
Everybody, and that is a benefit. That because it's not just like everybody's in one of 12 camps. No, it's your whole chart with all of these different nuances. It's great stuff. So I've got questions here. I'm gonna have to roll most of them over, and I know we've only got Jen Lynn here for just 10 minutes at most.
My guitar lessons on Thursdays.
There we go. Just having a quick look down here. But let's do one news story if you don't mind.
Okay.
4645, the Estlink 2. And what that is, the Estlink 2, ESTLINK, is an interconnecting cable that runs from Finland to Estonia. Note, both of which are NATO countries. The Estlink 2 carries power and internet across the Baltic Sea. My understanding is it carries one thing of power and 3 things of internet. Yesterday, it was cut.
Oh man, cutting more cables. Okay.
And it will take months to repair, leaving many without energy this winter. This morning, it is suspected that a Russian tanker was responsible. Finland has taken control of and boarded the vessel to confirm, because they could see exactly, like, here's the cable and here's what was there and this is the tanker. The question here is, was it an accident? But I think it's more, is this going to turn into something?
It just happened a few months ago where they had a ship that cut a cable.
Right. And it's a tanker. It's not like it's a ship that like does deep sea something, and they were working on something else and they happened to hit that cable and knock it. It's a tanker. Your stuff's supposed to be up here, not down there. And
not down there on the floor.
Best of my knowledge is they don't put those cables in shallow waters. They put them in deep water to keep them safe. So is this going to turn into anything?
Putin on the bottom. That's my card for Putin.
Mm-hmm.
They know who did it. They just got to shine a light on it. They know. This is going to bring NATO forces together more because they're like, we have got to move into action. We've got to take more, come up with more plans of ways to impact Russia because they keep doing this. It's funny because this is my Trump card now, the loser. They're also thinking about Trump if he comes in and what a burden he's going to be, and the oligarchs that are behind this. Yeah, I feel like NATO's going to take an action on this. Give it a couple of weeks. I think NATO will take an action. Thank you, Kara.
Thank you, Caro. Thank you so much. All right. Putin. He's not in a great position. He's losing this war, and he's. I heard, now I don't know if this is true, but I heard that they've started taking female prisoners and sending them to the front.
Oh man.
But I've just got them. This feels like them checking, looking, gathering secrets. This feels like the really going back who gave who money to where to, or I mean they're like, they're not just going, oh, it was probably them. I mean this feels like a meticulous laying all of this out so then they can present very meticulous findings. And looking at that communication, it doesn't feel like something's going to happen tomorrow. I mean, maybe it will be in a couple of weeks or what have you, but this feels like there's bigger action about Russia coming. Because of the actions Russia's taken, there's this big shift of more liberal countries. But
the fact that they know they attacked Moldavia's elections and Romania's elections and Georgia's elections, the country Georgia, they know it's Russia, and they know that they're meddling, in other places in the world. Can we just ask that real quick? Change your questions a little bit. Is Putin planning on attacking any other countries?
Well, to be honest, yes. I wonder if we wouldn't be better asking,
because we know he wants all his Russian countries back, but he's messing with NATO.
Right. Is NATO or other countries, are they going to attack Russia? I think, how about that? Does that work?
Well, they kind of already are by helping Ukraine in a way. Like Biden gave permission, like, yeah, go ahead and bomb inside of Russia now. You have our
but
permission.
Something more than Ukraine.
Yeah. It feels like he's in cutting off other countries like that. It feels like he's looking to go after another country besides Ukraine.
Yeah.
Syria he's already pulled out of, so now he's got time to go after another country.
Better idea. Would you have a look at, will Putin go after, and then I'll take the other side of it, which is, will the NATO countries respond, or do actively go after Putin, not just in Ukraine?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the same thing from different angles. Oh, cut the deck, got the devil and the death card. Yay!
There you go. Big change.
Happy Boxing Day, everybody.
Well, I kind of am answering both questions a little bit here.
What have you got?
He's blocked from going after anybody else. There's, finding that balance and an action taken. A surprise action of some kind. So Putin's waiting. He's like, he was hoping to, but I get delays and temperance and slow moving energy here, like he's not able to. I think to constrict him, you're going to have some female energy charging in, and other countries like NATO countries coming in, taking the opportunity to constrict him. So big yes card on that. So they may constrict his energy too, like his gas is, the Russian gas and all his energy.
Yeah, I would completely agree with that.
Like,
Basically,
how do you like having a cold winter in Siberia?
Yeek. This is the other countries, especially more liberal countries, taking action because they're sick and tired of having their cables cut and all this other garbage. The thing though is Putin right now he looks unstoppable at the moment because all these bad things have happened to him, but it's still going and he's still there. So it almost creates this illusion of, oh gosh, nobody can stop him. But the reality is the people in the West specifically, and we're still good. His economy, his people, this whole thing is awful, absolutely awful. And there reaches a point where it's untenable. It does reach a point where it's untenable.
I saw pictures where they were protesting in the streets again in Russia. So his time is up. He's about done.
Yeah, I'm getting a big old full card for him. Yeah. And I do think that the West is going to do something about it eventually. And so I was like, okay, well, give me some clarification on, what that could look like. And I got the Chariot. That's big. This could be, it could be through Ukraine. It could be some other way, but I got Death, World, Queen of Wands, somebody else taking over in Russia. And it was like, okay, well.
Or the rise of the feminine energy.
That too. But it is wands, so it's not for me, I get the far right for wands. So it would be somebody taking over. The person after Putin is not likely to be, a modern, super liberal. So, but anything would be, it's gotten to the point where anything would be better.
Well, Autumn, thank you for letting me come on your 5th anniversary of your daily lives. That's awesome. I have to run to guitar lesson, but I'll leave you so you can read on a few other things we didn't get to.
Oh no, I'm going to call it for the day. But thank you so much for being here, and take care, and thank you for coming on.
Autumn will be with us on New Year's Eve, right?
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
New Year's Eve on my channel. Fundraiser for World Central Kitchen. Last year, it's always our biggest fundraiser of the year. Last year, we raised $9,200. So please join us 10 Central Time, 11 Eastern, New Year's Eve. And we're usually live for about 4 or 5 hours. So
and we're going to feed lots of people. Feed lots of hungry people, as it should be. Thank you. Take care. Actually, I think I will stay on for just a minute. So thank you. Take care. Bye. Be safe. All right. Bye. Hello. Thank you. Let me just have a quick look. I just want to have a quick look at, and thank you, by the way, thank you for the reminder to mark down the time. I would have forgotten. And so you really helped me. Thank you. We work together here. So I want to just have a look at 59, the next 5 years. If you don't mind, let's have a look. Because it's not just my channel. But yeah, actually, I might be selfish and say, because you're here. So next 5 years, or on the channel, in the country, what have we got? Thank you. (2025) through 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 2029. I know it's a big, long period. I'm not getting anything particularly new. I mean, it starts out over here. It starts out with major arcana negativity, but then it's not as negative. So, and we've already dealt with a pandemic and the rise of the orange idiot, the re-rising of the orange idiot, and all this kind of garbage. But this is we're already in this. After that, we basically have in the center the power of the community, democracy, people pulling together for rights and decency. And then these oligarchs, be careful. Be careful what you're doing here, because you don't need $4 billion. You don't. You don't need $4 billion. Not while your people are using public services for basic, just to keep themselves alive. This is not workable anymore. And that's going to become very clear over the next 5 years. So, but this could cause some disruption here and there, strikes, or CEOs getting so mad that they shut companies down and think they can rebuild overnight, which they can't. Like I said, we'll stick together. We'll talk to each other. We'll be sensible. And yeah, so ding. So I will just keep on keeping on. Thank you so much for everything. We're still doing thank you, Carolyn. Thank you. So thank you, Brenda. So we're still doing the stay calm thing at 11:30 Central, half an hour before this, to calm down your nervous system, empower your chakras, your energy centers. That can be good for you. We go through the news together here. Then we step away from the news and we spend some time just being productive, just working on our own projects. It can be becoming creative. It can be cleaning. It can be working on your business. It can be whatever you need it to be. And then I've got all kinds of stuff planned and giveaways planned for the Color Organization. I think it's basically cash stuffing, budgeting, organizing, small business organizing, personal organizing. And we're going to get through this. So I'm trying to help. All right. And we did 5 years. What do you say? Let's do another 5. You and me. What do you think? And thank you so much for everything. All right. Hang in there. Hang in there. Oh, anybody who was wondering what it says. It says Christmas Tree Protection Unit Cat Division. All right. Take care. Thank you. And I will see you later. Right back here tomorrow, certainly. Oh, Queen May says, I'm down. Let's do it. You got it.